Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar this afternoon. My name is Rebecca Cox, and I'm one of the IT support officers at Surf Lifesaving Australia. So some of you may have had communication with me previously over the phone or via our ticketing system. This afternoon, our webinar is just going to provide you with an overview that is club officers and administrators and anyone else at the club who may be responsible for doing entries in the SEMS system, the Sport Event Management System, how to do the entries for solo and team contests. So I just wanted to start by, first of all, just giving you a little bit of information that will give you an overview of some of the webinars we've already run. So you'll see here there is quite a number of webinars that have been run to date, and some of those we have actually already uploaded the videos that you can actually watch if you unfortunately missed some of those webinars. For those of you who may also be wanting to learn more about how to set up an event in SEMS, you may like to watch the video that was done from a webinar on the 18th of July, and that's for the club, branch and state. Anyone who wants to run a carnival using SEMS, or run an event I should say, they could watch that video just to get a bit more of an insight. There's a few well, really one more now to run, and then we will do a review, and we certainly will be running additional webinars throughout the season, probably relating more to sort of things that actually happen at each part of the season. So keep an eye on help.sls.com.au to keep up to date with what webinars we are running. You'll also see here on help.sls.com.au that we our support hours. Okay, so our hours of support are Monday to Friday from 8 till 5, and we offer a couple of hours each Saturday and Sunday. We have, in the last few months, moved away from using email to contact us regarding any type of IT support, and we are now having people required to log a support ticket. So if for anything that you need to log, it's no longer an email to IT help. You will get an auto reply. You need to log a ticket at support.sls.com.au. Alternatively, you can call us, and when we have enough staff on, or we have an online chat. So the online chat is offered at times when, well, for example, my colleagues are listening to this webinar at the moment, so that's why it's offline, but you can use the live chat function when it's online. Another thing at our help.sls.com.au, you can actually view our user guides. We are in the process of updating a lot of our user guides and putting them into our new sort of software format. So we're moving away from PDF type guides, and we are moving towards a software application that enables a guide to be fully searchable. And this is the example of just a version we've just done of the SEMS guide, so Sport Event Management Systems Guide. And you can see here that you can search for things in this guide relating to IRB. So if you're doing entries for IRBs, you can search IRB and it'll bring up any options. So for example, accessing SEMS, you'd click there. So it's just page by page. So you can just choose separate topics. Now, if you still like printing lots of paper, you can also download the guide to a PDF. But that's the new format for our guides, and the SEMS guide has already been put into that new format. So we've got our guides, and then another range of a lot of other guides there that may help you at this time of the year. Can I also just highlight to you a lot of clubs at the moment inquiring about payment gateway. So you might want to have a look at the payment gateway guide and a sample price list if you haven't updated your price list at your club for the 2019-20 season. Just so you know, well, I just thought of it, we've had a lot of calls this week about the payment gateway. If you can't log in because your account is locked due to inactivity, you need to contact or log a support ticket for asking us to unlock it. You don't need to contact Westpac. The SLSA IT help desk are the actual administrator of the payment gateway, and we reset all the passwords when they've become locked. So just bear that in mind. That's not our topic today. We're back to SEMS. So what I also just wanted to say is that I'm going to do this presentation, and then as we move throughout at any time, if you would like to ask a question, we'll then go through those questions at the end. So we'll have a Q&A at the end. However, if you would like to ask a question, please feel free to type it at any time, and then we'll get back to those at the end of the webinar. So this webinar will be recorded like all our others have, so we'll actually be able to upload a version of this to that help.sls.com.au site so that you can review it at a future time if there's something that you have forgotten in a week or so, or whenever you're doing your entries. So the first thing we need to look at is how we get access to SEMS, okay? So SEMS is actually applied access. We actually apply it through your members area account. So before you actually ask for access to SEMS, you need to make sure that you do have a members area account. So this is the members area login screen. So if you're able to log into this screen here, that means that you actually have a SEMS account. So in the back end of the members area is where we link SEMS accounts. So if you need access for your club, then you need to go to the Form 49, and it actually needs to be approved by a club officer administrator, okay? So in this page 2 of the Form 49, up here is where we've got the details of the person, SurfGuard access, SurfCom access, and here's access to SEMS. So most of you probably that I'm speaking to today will probably be just at a club officer level. As it says there, allows the operator to register competitors in events on behalf of the club. So that's the club officer, and then there's higher levels up. So if you're going to be a recorder at a carnival and you need to be able to run the carnival, then you would be asking for recorder access. And event admin is those people that are actually setting up a event. So if you want to create events to run at a club level, then you would need to ask for event admin at the level for your club. So they're probably the main ones, and so you can choose, but most of you probably will be getting club officer access. So once we receive that completed, signed off Form 49, we will actually assign you SEMS access to your relevant organisation, and then you will be able to go to SEMS and with your username and password, and it's the username and password that you log into the members area. Now, if you can't remember your members area login, you can actually ask for a reset for your username or password. So please note, when you are asking for a forgotten username or password, it does actually give you the option to have it sent to email or SMS, and in both instances, it'll either ask for your mobile or your email, and it only asks you for your first name. It's not your full name. Please only enter your first name. Surname is not required. Date of birth, etc. And generally, I recommend you leave that ticked like that, because then you get your username and the password. So that's usually why most people do a reset, is for their password, not their username. So I just want to highlight to you, because some people do, for some reason, keep typing in their whole name when it only asks for your first name. So once I've got my login, I log into SEMS. Okay, and this is the default screen of the home page. So first of all, you will notice here that I have super admin access at a Surf Life Saving Australia level. Now, you might have an admin access at a club level. So this will indicate at what level of access you have, what type of access, and at what level of the organisation you have it as. So that's something you can look at to start with. Here is where I've got the option of logging out. And over here you can see, because I've got it at a national level, I actually have the entire organisation higher below me, okay? So I can drill down to any of the clubs in any of the states. Obviously in the case of New South Wales, I go down by the branches. Sorry, I just missed that there. So that's how I drill down. Most of you will probably just have access at your club level. So today when I'm doing this webinar, you might notice I need to sort of change my level of access. just because I need to drill down so it makes the response quicker. That'll make sense shortly. So on the home page, it lists any open events that we have running. So just to highlight the terminology, you'll now notice that we have events, okay, and then we have contests, okay. So we've moved away from carnivals and things like that because it's not necessarily that everything in this SEMS system is actually a carnival. It could be an ocean swim or something along those lines. So that's why we have made them events, and within an event there is contests, and in a contest you put in participants. So we can see there's a few open carnivals. Some of these are for testing purposes, and some of them are live carnivals. So this carnival, the NT Championships, is about to commence today. So that's the view of the world. You can also look for draft or completed carnivals as well. You can change the date range, and you could actually just search for a contest, okay? So anything that has NT in it, okay, it'll search like that. So that's how you see the events. So I'll give you then the example when we actually look at an event. So if we're just going to look at this event here, we can do two things. To open up this event, we can actually go down here and click open, or we can highlight it, okay, and we can actually click contests, and it will show us the contests relating to that event. So when I'll just go back here again. So let's just do it this way. If I just go open, highlight, and I click open, you'll notice that I can now actually view details under event. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sub-tabs that open. Now, even though we own this carnival, you can actually see all this information. So if you're not sure what rules have been enforced in this event, then you can actually view this information. So you open up the event and the details of the event, okay? So this is the name of the event. You can add additional information there. It's open, it's online, and the fee charges for this event are by an individual basis, not by a team basis. So it's per person, not per team. We own the event and we host the event. Where is it? This is the example given. Going forward, you could put in the latitude and longitude, and you could also put specific details about the event, and also the specific beach that the event is being held at. So then we've got our registrations date. So early, open if there is any, normal entries close, late close 15th of August, and this is the event dates, okay? So you can see all this information. Just remembering again, it's a little bit more, some things I will have access to that you won't see because I am a super admin at a national level. So then there's the criteria. So the criteria is what we've actually applied as an overall criteria to the entire event, okay? So the overarching or overruling criteria is that it is restricted by age for people 13 to 99, and that we are using the event start date to calculate the age, okay? So in that case, the start date is the actual day that the event starts, and that's the date that you can choose to actually calculate the competition age, or you can use the competition age season, okay? So that's how I would turn it off, but if we're enforcing it, we turn it on. Majority would be competition age season, but that's to highlight the difference to you. So that's overall, that covers everyone who wants to enter into this event. Now, the other thing we do is with SEMS is we're able to, as the event organiser, we can actually enforce award requirements to cover everyone who's going to be entered into this event, and we can do combinations. So the first thing you'll notice here is that the bronze bronze award, we are actually looking for a proficient bronze, and someone also has to hold the Cert 2. Okay, so because there are 3 versions of the Cert 2, we've actually created 3 award sets. So you'll notice here that the numbers change for the Cert 2. So they're the 3 different versions of the Cert 2, and a bronze is required, and you have to be proficient. You can see that I can change these and change things because I'm the administrator, but you wouldn't be able to change anything here. So it's not hold the award, it's being proficient in the award. And we've also added there a surf rescue certificate to cover those people who only hold the SRC. So that's the award set that is the overriding for the entire event. And the other feature of SEMS is that we have the ability to take participants who are currently registered for the 2018 and 2019 season. So you can imagine at this time of the year, with a changeover and people renewing, you've still probably got a large percentage of your members still registered for 2018 and then half for 2019. So we can allow people to be entered for both, if they're in both of those registered seasons. You'll notice, just because this is a testing event, we haven't enforced patrol hours, but if I enforce the patrol hours, we'd look at enforce the competition season that you want to use. Okay, so it's still the 2018 competition season, because a competition season is the last full calendar year. And then we then include all the different hour requirements for all the different sub-membership categories to enforce those hours to enter as a participant in specific contests. So I'll just untick that because that's the way this event's been set up by someone in our team. So I just want to just leave those like that. So we'll just discard any changes, and then we're going on to the fees. So here's where you can see what fees, if we're the owner of the carnival, these are the fees that we've set. Okay, so normal entry fees, we haven't put in any late entry fees, and overall you'll be able to, if you choose to, you can actually charge fees based on the role type. Am I an assistant? Am I a competitor? Am I an official? And you can charge if necessary. You can also, you'll see here whether we've enforced that payment is required prior to the event. So if you want to enter someone and you haven't paid for them on the start date of the event, then they will not be able to compete and they won't appear in any round draws. And you can, and we can, if the owner of the carnival, put in exceptions. So often, sometimes an exception would be like for a March Pass team. We haven't done anything like that in this one. This will show you who can be entered into this event. So every every club in organisation in the country is eligible to enter into this event. But if you only saw here, you know, a breakdown just of down to here to Northern Territory level, then it would mean that only the organisations, if you didn't see all these, then that would mean it's only for the Northern Territory that we're allowing people to enter into this event. And there are other controls that probably don't really big concern for people doing entries, but I just wanted to highlight the fact that you can see all those fields as a read only. So that's the event, and then within the event we have contests. So if what I will just do here is I'll go down and I'm just going to highlight to you in a contest what we also have. So for example here, in this contest here, if I look at this IRB tube rescue, okay, I'm just going to open this up so you can have a look at this contest, okay. This contest is, actually I'll just do this one if that's okay. Okay, so this is open. You can see some of these, it's completed. So because we've been doing testing, there's say maybe rounds have been run, or all the contests, all the rounds have been run and it's complete. So if I open up this contest, I can now see a whole lot of sub-tabs relating to contests, okay? So I'm currently looking at the Open Female IRB Tube Rescue, and you can see that this is how the owner of the event has actually set it up. So it's an Open Female IRB. These are the minimum and maximum ages for it. It's an IRB discipline, and it's a tube rescue, and there's been a description in there, so you can have a look at that. Team of 3, driver, crew and patient. It's a team contest, and results are placed, and we're using alleys. You can actually change the display name if you wanted to. So say you had a sponsor who was sponsoring this contest, then we could actually name it with, so it would show up as the blah, 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 open female IRB tube rescue as an example. So this is the minimum, maximum teams, maximum entries for a club, and these are the defaults. You can also see here that it has in tick boxes next to define gender rules by role and define age rules by role. So you'll notice here that this is an open female contest. However, because it is an IRB contest, there are certain changes to who can actually insert roles in the contest. So if I just click on criteria as the next one, you'll see these are the standard awards that we actually have enforced for every contest in this event. But if you wanted to add any other specific contest award sets or criteria, you could enter that here. Now, because in that detail I just showed you before, we have the roles defined by gender and age, we can see what those are, okay? So in this situation, the open female IRB tube rescue, we actually could still make that female. I'm just showing you how you could change it around. So that could be a female, that could be IRB crew, has to be a female, and the IRB patient can be all, okay? So you can change, that's the roles. And so that's how you can actually enable an IRB patient to be either female or male in a female contest. So you can once again read all this. You'll notice that because these are different types of competitors, there is additional awards applied to them. So the silver medallion IRB driver is a requirement for driver, and you must, and they have to be proficient. IRB crew certificate, you have to, for IRB crew and for IRB patient, and you must be proficient. So all these things you can see about the actual contest that has been set up. So that's a team contest, and the same applies to a solo contest. So if I go into the open male beach flags, and I go back to, go back to details for the open male beach flags. This one is a solo, okay, criteria, just the standard ones that we set, or you can actually, you know, you could, just for this one contest, you could, the organiser may have exempted all event criteria. So what was set here, all event award criteria has been exempted. So for this contest, you don't actually have to hold those standard things that we started with. So you can view all these like settings without but not being able to edit them. Okay, so that's just giving you an idea of viewing an event and also then viewing the contest within an event. So if I just go back here again, we'll just go to, I just like to show you one where I just need an event that hasn't actually had something done to it. So I'm just going to look at a solo event first. And the other thing I should have just highlighted to you there also, but I'll come back here and show it to you here. So if I open up this testing event here, okay, there's just two contests in here. It's just for testing purposes. You can always see here how you can have the option of all disciplines, or you can filter just by, if I go board, nothing will show because I've only got two contests in here. So, and they're both IRB. So if I go back to IRB, they will both display. Okay, sorry. And I'm not sure why that's actually, don't know. Let me let's go back to this way so I can actually all disciplines. All right, then I was going to put myself in a bit of a knot there. Just hold on one moment while we go to here. Okay, so we can also filter by the class. Okay, we can also filter by solo or team events, and we can also filter by gender. So probably, and my apologies, I should have probably taken you back to this one, which will give you a more realistic way of how you can filter by those other disciplines. Okay, so here we could filter by any of those. Okay, so we could filter by beach events, which will only give us the beach events, and we could also filter by the type of event, so whether it's beach flags or beach relay. Okay, so we can also go here and we could filter by the male or female, or sorry, solo or team events. So you can see which one's a team and which one's a solo. And if you wanted to, you could filter by gender. So if you're looking at females, you just search filter by female. So that just gives you an idea of all the different ways that you can filter. So I'm just going to go back to that other event because I want to actually show you in here about solo events. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to burrow down to a specific club to show you how to do the entry. So I'll just go to my club because I sort of then know people in my club, obviously, so it makes it a little bit easier. Sorry. My apologies. You wouldn't have this problem because you wouldn't have to keep burrowing down. So I'm in now as actually the Club Clovelly. So I can now look at the this contest. I want to open up, so this event, and I'm looking at the open male iron person on Sunday, which is a solo event. Okay, and at this point in time, there is one entry. So let's open it up. Okay, and I want to put some more entries in this. So there's all the details, and I go to entrance. Okay, so we can see here that there is already one competitor in this contest, and it automatically shows you here all the qualifying members. Okay, so this is an open male iron person and it shows qualifying members. So if I have a qualifying member, I can actually take them over there, okay, and I just go plus, okay, and it would actually enter another person at your club as the competitor. Now, because there is also the ability to add an assistant to a male iron person event, a handler, you can actually highlight the name there of the competitor, okay, and we know that Miles is the assistant to this, or the handler to this person, so we would then change this to the assistant, okay, and anyone who we say that's Miles, and you'll see if I click this little arrow here, it'll give me the option to actually assign this person as the iron person handler, okay, and the name appears there. Okay, so that would be how you would enter the competitor into an iron person event, and then you would go back and highlight that competitor, change from competitor to assistant, find the assistant and move them across, okay, and then you would save it. So that's how we would actually enter into a solo event. So so here, I'm actually going to try and enter another person into this at our club, and I want to, all right, I'm looking for, actually, say for example, I'm looking for, I'm looking for this other Thomas, and he's not appearing. Why? I know, I'm sure he's able to go in. So if I can't find who I think I should be able to enter, you should always untick the box saying qualifying members only. So when you tick the untick qualifying members only, it will give you a list of all the people, and it will show you here whether they qualify or not, okay? So you might see there that, so I just do a search on someone with Thomas. I'm going to actually now get all those people who are not qualifying. Okay, so and here's just one example of someone who hasn't qualified, and e.g. this person hasn't qualified, there's a no. If you click on the no here, if you click on it, it will actually show you why, okay? So they've got the correct age. Because of the role-specific gender rule, they don't meet the requirements, okay? Registered for the 2018 season. If I do the one below, it will be because of the age factor, because that person's only 7, okay? So that's the reason why you need to check. You should be checking that, okay? They don't meet the male, or they don't meet the age. So that's a real key benefit of SEMS, is that you can actually find out why someone can't be entered, okay? It might be because they don't hold the right award. So it'll actually show you if that's been enforced. So please, that's something you should do. If you can't find them when they're in qualifying members and you still want to try and enter them, tick the box and you'll see then why they can't be entered, because they're a no. Then you would need to contact the event organiser, because there may be, and find out if there's some issue, like with, you know, if you've enforced patrol hours but they got their bronze in the December, so they don't have to have all the hours, etc., etc. All those things can be overridden by the event organiser. So they're just some little tricks for how to enter a solo competitor, and how to add a handler to a 9-person contest. And we can actually now see currently at this level that we've actually got 3 people who are entered, okay, at a club level, okay, for this event. Okay, so if I wanted to put, now that I've entered this one in here, I could look at any other events that anyone else is able to be they could be added to any other contest, which at this stage is not, because there isn't any others. So that's just how we manage our solo contests. And the same would apply that if you knew that this member, okay, was actually pulling out of this contest because they've injured themselves, even before you know, entries have closed or anything, you can actually remove them, okay, from the actual contest. Okay, so you can withdraw them. So that's how you manage solo. I'm just going to go back to that other event that we were looking at earlier, and in this one we'll just discuss the teams. So if we open this one up, okay, so I'm wanting to add some teams to a specific contest in this event. Okay, so once again, if I wanted to add a team to the Open Female IRB Tube Rescue, okay, I would click open. I'm able to see the detail of this contest. And I can see the roles, all right, and I can add my teams. So I just have to pause for one moment, sorry. Apologies for that. So I just clicked on the teams. Now you can see here for this organisation, Clovelly, no teams have been entered into the Open Female IRB Tube Rescue. Now it's a little bit different when we're entering teams, because the first thing we need to do is create a team name. So the team name, the defaults are alphabetical. So Team A through to Team Z, etc. Or you could rename it what your team name is at the specific club. This is pretty common for a lot of the Bodie contests. They like to have their names entered. So we could just make a, let's just say Supergirls, okay, and done. And now we've actually got the team name created. So I could then, as long as I've highlighted it, I can then go edit. So it's now searching for any competitors. So I'm actually going to look for, okay, so a yes, because they are all the criteria, okay, holds the award set, etc., etc. Okay, so for membership, is a member, has the correct age requirements, has the correct specific gender roles, and has the event criteria covered and the roles covered. So that competitor can be added. So if I highlight it, okay, and because of this role, because it's an IRB contest, you'll notice here they can be in anything. So we could put in as the driver, and that person is now in as the driver, and okay, and so we could add this person, and they're going to be the patient, okay, and just to show you the example, we'll put in Rebecca, and we'll see what happens. So there's no Rebecca. Well, I think I should be able to be entered as the crew. So let's untick the qualify box. Okay, so Rebecca, the answer is that I don't hold the awards to be in any of those positions. So that's why I cannot be entered. Okay, so, oh, well, that's not good. We'll have to find someone else. So let's save it. And for teams, it's done. You click done, and you'll notice here now that it's got 2 or 3 competitors. Okay, so it's got 2 out of 3 are entered, and it's also showing as incomplete. Okay, so further down the track, when you've done all your entries and you're getting closer to the carnival, we could actually go up to the participants and look at our team contests. We've only got 1 team contest for Clovelly in this event, and it is an incomplete team. Okay, so we could then edit the team if we know now that there's somebody else to go in as the crew. Okay, so that's how we can check our incomplete teams. Participants, teams. Earlier I said so we could add, so another contest that we could look at would be the same, exactly the same process, is the open male beach relay. If we open that up, the same applies. We can look at all the criteria. You'll notice this doesn't have gender and age rules by role. So we could just enter a team. Okay, so again, we have to actually, let's leave it as team A, and then we edit it so that we can add our participants to this contest. So this is how we would do teams. So it's slightly different, but the same rules apply for solo and teams. If you can't find someone, you always you can search for them and untick the box. Okay, so all these people here are eligible for this contest. So we could add them over if we chose to. Or we've decided now that we're not going to do that. We're not going to add anyone. We've just created the team. So if you create the team, if you went up to participants, okay, in the open male beach relay, you'll notice nothing showed until I said not entered, okay, because we're just looking at 1 contest here. So, okay, so we would be able to enter them into the male open beach relay because that is already been created. Okay, we can turn it off so we only see teams. Okay, so I haven't created, the team thing hasn't picked up that I've created the team yet. So, but that's the easiest way really, is to go through and add them either as a solo, a team event, open the actual event, teams, and add them this way. So that's our teams and our solo contests. I've talked to you about how to change the team name, and I'm also changing team members. So for example, if I went back to the contest, this one here, and I'm opening it up. Okay, I look at the team. There's been an injury, so unfortunately I have to take someone out. I just highlight the actual team that I've got to edit. I can click the edit button and then click edit, and then it will actually enable me now to remove the injured participant, and if necessary, add someone who is, because of the way this event has been set up, that males and females are showing. So I do apologise for the confusion in this. Okay, I can move someone else in. Okay, so, and what position I want them to be, that's fine. Okay, so that's pretty much how you can work it. You just edit, and then you take them out by using the minus, and then you look for another person who is eligible and put them in, and done. So besides the SEMS solo and team entries, the other thing that you'll be able to do at a club level is you'll be able to run a range of reports. So currently you could select from any of these types of reports, and they will give you different outputs of information. So a full competitor list for patrol hours. If we just did that one, just to give you a bit of an idea. Okay, so if you want, you can show, at your level of the organisation, you probably don't need to show state and branch, but these reports are also at like an event management side as where they're running the event, and so they may want to know what state or branch the competitor belongs to. So then it says show the report, and you've got two output options for this report, PDF or CSV. So if I just do CSV, it'll bring up this type of report. Okay, so a full competitor list for our club, they're the names of the competitors, et cetera, and what our requirements are required. If I just open that up, you'll see patrol hours, required patrol hours done. So that is that's the full list for patrol hours. There's then one for full competitor list with alphabetical or random order. Okay, contest list details. So if I looked at that report, just to give you an idea, as PDF, it's just about each contest and what are the actual criteria for each contest in this event. Minimum, maximum age, et cetera, team or solo, contest codes, etc. So event program report is another one that will just list all participants per contest with their club name and gender that have been entered into the contest. So there's a few here you can look at: a final results report, an incomplete teams report. Okay, so once again, if I PDF that, it should show that. Actually, I'll have to look at that for a moment. And then the other one is competitor contact list. And so this will provide for team managements. Team managers, they can get a list of all the competitors who are actually going to that event with their email address and mobile, etc. And that even event organisers can use that to contact people after the event to send out a survey on their feedback about the event. So that's pretty much the overview for the SEMS entries of solo and team participants in different events. Does anyone have any questions? If they do, would they like to type them now? So I'll just give anyone a chance to ask any questions if they would like to ask any questions. I do appreciate you all attending and tuning in this afternoon. I hope you've actually got a better understanding of it. As I said earlier today, the guide and everything is here at help.sls.com.au. Okay, so the SEMS user guide, and we this is the area that you would probably be mainly looking at, adding competitors into an event. Okay, so the different information, like those things that we highlighted today, would be in that section. So I'm just looking at some of the questions that have come through. Can you run a report by competition age so you can give each age manager a list of their competitors, each at a junior carnival? I don't think that we do have one. Can I get back to you, Heather? I'll get back to everyone on this webinar and let you know the answer to that. I actually haven't been asked that question before, and I've probably downloaded numerous reports. I will just actually have a look at this one first, just to see what we do have here for that. Okay, full alphabetical order. Actually, no, that's not it. Let me just have a look at that one, and I'll email you. Full just all contents, all that. Okay, so that's not showing us any entry. So let me just go back to the other contest. Sorry. Yeah, so it does give their competition age in that full competitor list. So I was just trying to find one that actually had some entrance in it. So you'll see that does give their competition age, but it doesn't give their competition age. It gives their competition age, but it's not so much like for a junior. Well, it will, because you can just break it down for the different members in the different competition age. So yes, full competitor list alphabetical will provide you with that. So that's that one there. So that would help for that question. In the Carnival Manager system, we had to do a surge to update the information. Do we need to do that? No. So in SEMS, that is automatically done by the system does it overnight out of working hours, and all that upgrade automatically gets done now. So you don't ever have to do the forced Surfguard update ever again in SEMS. If there's still at your state carnivals being run in the Carnival Manager, that is still a requirement if you can't find a competitor. But all that full Surfguard update, the data being pulled from Surfguard into SEMS, that's all done automatically now, so no longer required for you to do. So look, there's no other questions at the moment. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and keep an eye on help.sls.com.au for any other future webinars, and wishing you all the best for the season. Thank you.